Well, good morning, guys, from Yuma, Arizona. We are on Rebecca's Uncle JJ's farm out here, and this is our friend Dan. Today we are going to upgrade to lithium batteries in our 4x4 expedition truck, and we're really glad to have Dan here because he has a lot of experience with the Battle Born Lithium Batteries.
Yep, got 7 on myself.
Exactly, so this should be fun. Let's jump in. Okay, so this is our 2007 Mitsubishi Fuso FG 140 4x4 expedition vehicle, and our current batteries are right there. They're 3 AGMs located on the frame rail. This location is not ideal for lithium batteries, so we are going to be locating them inside. But as you can see, we're working with a very solid but yet basic system out here. And right down here, the stars of the show, the new heart of our camper, 3 Battle Born 100 amp hour lithium batteries. Okay, heading on in the camper. Let me get this out of the way. We did that so Shelby didn't kind of jump up into a little trap. All right, so over here we have our little 12-volt refrigerator. Down there, I've already kind of got it disconnected a little bit, but that's a Xantrex battery charger, which is not compatible with the lithium batteries. Our system is very simple here, guys. Since this is an Overland expedition build, just core fundamental components, not too much overkill. So we can get to almost everything, and everything's going to be taking place right here. You know, we have our solar charge controller. The 2000 watt inverter works for now, but it's just not what we're going to be sticking with for a long-term situation. And then circling back over here is the back side of our control panel, and then we are going to install the batteries down here on the deck. And then just for reference, there's the control panel with all our switches. Well, that's it for the inside. Let's head back out here. All right, so everything is laid out here. We're going to be using 2-gauge wire, and we're also going to try to reuse some of the existing wire because it's very good quality. And then we have the cable ends, and then to secure the batteries, we have a handle pull, some ratchet straps, silicone. We opted for electrical tape instead of shrink wrap. There's a shunt, which is essentially a inline fuse on steroids. We have the battery terminal bolts, some connectors. We're going to clean up some stuff. This is a Victron battery monitor. These are my prescription glasses. That's my coffee. This is a Progressive Dynamics 60 amp charger, which we have to upgrade to for the lithium batteries so we can make the most out of them. This right here is called the Battery Isolation Manager. We're right on the fence of having to use this, so we're not going to install it at this time, but this cycles the charge from your battery, from your alternator to your battery, so it's not charging all the time. You know, we're on the fence about installing it right now, but the reason why we are is because it doesn't even go where we are working right now. This goes underneath the hood, so we could easily do it down the road if we deem it necessary. Well, you got to preach it, but safety first. This is where we plug into shore power on our expedition camper here, but there's no AC power going into the unit right now. And then Dan is getting started disconnecting the AGMs. I found a ground that was loose, and I know I shouldn't be like too happy that, oh, we have loose ground, but I'm very happy because a loose ground can cause a nightmare of electrical issues. We are making great progress and just removing components and wiring, because when you do a project like this, you inherently do run some fresh. The Xantrex charger has been completely removed. We have a black wire down there which grounds out to the chassis. I'm not sure if we'll be reusing that one or not. And then over here, this one leads to the positive terminal of the chassis batteries. But we got just undid a bunch of zip ties and these wire retaining clips so we can work. And then down in here we have well, gosh, we started just stripping a bunch of wires out, and we are also going a little deeper than, truthfully, deeper than I would have if I was doing this myself. But with Dan's expertise and experience, you know, we're doing things right and we're cleaning things up, and it's for the better, and we're very, very happy. All right, so all 3 Battle Born Lithiums have been installed and are hooked up. We are live with 12 volt. Repositioned the solar charge controller right there, and we put a breaker for it right there. And then coming out, the inverter is not hooked up yet, so that's going to happen tomorrow. But the new Progressive Dynamics charger is hooked up. We don't have the AC wired up yet, so we're just using the extension cord for now, because that's when we decided to call it a day. Any advice that I can give you for this install would be to, you know, if you have the option and not a time crunch, you know, take your time and do it in stages. And while you're in there, if you see things that should be improved, you know, or upgraded, or, you know, anything that falls under that category, just do it. You know, you have it all apart, might as well just do the job right. Well guys, we are all systems go. Everything is hooked up and functioning. Okay guys, I'll take you through real quick. These are our 3 100 amp hour Battle Born Lithium batteries, and we have a switch. This is the back side of it right there, and then here on the front side there's the switch, and this is the main power for the batteries. And then this one is it's kind of like a jumper, so we can, if our engine batteries are bad, we can link the house and chassis batteries. So then we have our cables down there running from the solar up to our TriStar MPPT solar charge controller. Now this was an interesting component because it's programmable, and we had to use a custom setting. And thankfully Battle Born has videos on their YouTube channel that pretty much walked us through which position the dip switches need to be set in, and also going on to this program for Morningstar. It's an archaic, and it's only good on PC, not on Mac, but it's called MS View, and we had to set all the properties of the solar charge controller there. And to make things a little more interesting, this is like a 9-pin connector that had to go into the Morningstar down there, and this USB end went to a PC so we could program it. And I got this cable off of Amazon for like $8. And now moving down here, we have our Progressive Dynamics 60 amp charger that is a wired directly to AC power right there. And then we've also utilized some grounding posts to just make routing of wires easier. As you can see, we have our inverter here, and then we have a inline fuse type of shunt there. But yeah, it is all systems go. Everything is functioning the way it is designed to. We did have one hiccup with the refrigerator. I don't know what we molested in our work here, but for some reason the refrigerator stopped working, and we just went back to square one, tracked down the wires for the refrigerator and wired them up fresh, and the refrigerator is working great now. And one final system that is worthy of being mentioned is we installed a Victron battery monitor system, and it's pretty nifty because it comes with an app, so we can make sure we're generating 1.21 gigawatts. So now all that we have left to do is to construct a box so we get our storage compartment back. But our tent here has been priceless for us to store things while we're in the midst of this project. Very, very handy. All right, well, I may not be a carpenter, but I can cut and screw things together. And there it is, the compartment for the batteries. Oh, thank you, Dan. Put your shoes in there. Dan, I can't thank you enough, my friend, for helping us with this project.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
You know, your expertise really came in handy. I just want to talk a second about production RVs versus a custom RV. Both are probably going to have their unique challenges.
That's correct.
Ours, I think one of the bigger challenges was just the sheer lack of space that we are dealing with. When a lot of RVs, you know, you can slap something here, slap something there. We have a lot of stuff crammed underneath that dinette.
And under your feet.
Yes, definitely. And I also like the way we did it. We didn't rush it. Sure, it would have been nice to, you know, be done so quick, but we did it in phases. Demo day, lay everything out day, let's wire things day, let's get the 12 volt hooked up, let's get the inverter hooked up, let's get the AC power hooked up. And we were able to work things out. And it was not without its hiccups. You take on something like this, you know it's not going to be a walk in the park. But I think with Dan's help, we are far better off in the long run.
I think in the long run, we took care of a lot of possible problems that you might have had down the road.
Definitely.
In a different country.
Exactly. And also, you know, I'm still learning this camper. I haven't taken every panel off of it yet. So I'm now more intimate with the electrical system, which is priceless, guys. All right, well, if you're interested in learning more about Battle Born batteries, we have a link below in the video description. We're really excited to try these lithiums out.
Yep.
Because we are heading for Baja, guys. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Dan. We'll see you on the next one. And thanks, Battle Born.